Okay, so our lentils have been boiling away for 5 minutes, so just going to have a little taste. You can see they're looking lovely actually. It's all about like the texture, so you actually want them to be kind of a little bit like pasta, or like when it's al dente, or even a little bit firmer than that, because the more we boil them here, so you want to be able to bite into them and they want to taste nice, but the more we boil them here, the more we have drying out we have to do later on. So I'm happy with that. They've still got a bit of crunch to them, but that's not going to be a problem. So I'm going to take them off the heat, and I'm just going to drain. So drain the lentils. You can see all that lovely steam coming off, so that's moisture leaving the lentils, which is exactly what we want, so that we can dry them out and turn them into lovely granola. So what I'm going to do is just when I give it a really good shake and kind of make sure you've got as much moisture out of the lentils as you can kind of get. So we'll just spread them out on a tray to dry. That surface area is going to let more steam escape, and that's exactly what we want. So just spread them out. Basically you just want to leave it until it stops steaming. So lentils have cooled down, so I've weighed out my honey into the warm pot, and that's just going to help warm it up and make it a bit runnier so it spreads more evenly. And then we want a couple of tablespoons of oil. I'm using macadamia oil, but you could use whatever you feel like. Even olive oil is fine. It doesn't have too strong a taste. So about 2 tablespoons. You could do more if you like a kind of crunchier, richer. So I quite like cinnamon, so I'm going to go for a couple of teaspoons. I did make a version with vanilla instead of cinnamon, which was really lovely if you're not a cinnamon fan. So you don't need to have cinnamon, or it does just enhance sweet flavours and stuff, so just give that a quick stir. Yum. To combine, and then let's grab our lentils that have cooled down, and they go in the pot. So then we just want to quickly give them a good stir to coat them in the honey mixture. You can hear it sounds kind of wet, so it is quite different to making regular granola when you're using roller. I'm going to put some more baking paper in. This is just so it doesn't stick to the tray and makes the tray easier to clean. But you don't have to do this if you don't want. So line our tray, and then we'll pour our lentil mixture in, and I'm going to be using almonds and coconut, so all those sorts of good things, but I find that it's best to get just the lentils, give them a bit of chance to dry out before you add the other ingredients, because otherwise the moisture can soak into them and then they can be difficult to dry. So just get every last little bit out. Spread it out fairly evenly, so more surface area equals quicker drying. Great, and I'll get it in the oven at 150°C or 300°F. And I'll check it in about 15 minutes. Those have been in the oven for about 15 minutes, and they already smell really lovely. So we'll just give them a good stir. You can see still looking fairly moist. So it's up to you. I think I might just add my almonds now, so then they're in and I don't forget about them. So I'm using quite a few almonds. Just raw almonds whole. I like to have really big chunky nuts in my granola. Back in the oven, and we'll give it a stir in another 15 minutes. In the oven for 30 minutes so far. And you can see it's starting to dry out, but there's still a lot of moisture there, so it's just important to give it a stir, because all the stuff that's on the top will be drier than the lentils that are on the bottom. So we just want to give that a good mix in, and then you can just go back in the oven and we'll check it again in 15 minutes. In the oven for about an hour now, and I've been stirring them every 15 minutes, And you can see they're looking lovely and deep golden now, and the nuts are starting to look roasted as well, which is great. So I'm just going to give it one more. You could probably get it out now if you wanted to, but I'm just going to make sure it's well and truly dried. So we'll just spread that back out, and then I'm going to add some shaved coconut. And the reason for adding this at the last minute is it's very delicate, so you don't want to kind of stir it so much. And it's going to roast quite quickly, so we'll just get that on top, spread it out so it can brown, and put it back in for another somewhere between 10 and 15.